The Mechwarrior Online August patch notes are out, my friends. Let's talk about the cool stuff coming to us in this beautiful month. The hottest month of the year? No, not really. It's gonna be rainy here in Germany, but we are going over the patch notes nevertheless. We get the Bull Shark Duo Legendary Pack, Mech adjustments, Quirk adjustments, and more. Plus, there's going to be another 2-week in-game patch science sale where you can purchase the mechs that are getting adjustments for reduced pricing. Also, the Mechwarrior Online Comp Queue is live with the August patch, so head on over to the CS 2025 details page to get more info there. If you get into a comp team and play, I think it was 20 matches, you also get a free mech. And the community has already raised $20,000 worth of prize pool for MWO's CS 2025 through the tournament supporter packs. So pick that up if you haven't looked at that one yet. 3 solid mechs in there, the gargoyle needs some help. Then we have right here the Bull Shark Void Killer and War Ghoul. And these are 2 new legendary mechs, and they come with a new special weapon called the Railgun. The Railgun is a locked weapon unique to those 2 Bull Sharks carrying it in their artillery mounts. These weapons will not be added to the general loot pool. These 2 new legends were released in a single pack with a single battle pass, so basically it's like the hash key and a baton, which were the 2 urban mechs a couple of years past. Each side torso has 5 slots taken for the railgun mount. Losing a side torso will not crit out the railgun, so you can run as an engine build if you desire. Both Clan and Innisphere railguns will have the same stats. So the railguns are 30 tons, that is 2 heavy Gauss worth of weight. Damage, 40 pinpoint, and 12 splash on each side. So that is, in effect, per shot, 64 damage, 40 pinpoint, and 12 splash to adjacent components, times 2. You cannot fire it with PPCs, sadly. And it produces 20 heat. 20 heat is massive. 20 heat is massive. That is more heat than a heavy large laser. That's massive heat production. Wow. Wow. That much heat for a 7.5 second cooldown. Velocity at 2000 meters per second. Range is going to be 800 meters and max range 2050. 4 rounds of ammo per ton, 6 with skills. And weapon health can only be crit out in the center torso. Okay? 90% chance of explosion, so if it explodes, if you get crit out, it's a high chance of going poof. 35 explosion damage. Only applied to CT, but it's gonna kill you probably, right? Uses the same charge and screen shake behavior as Heavy Gauss. Of course, we need to have screen shake. Couldn't be like Heavy Gauss without the screen shake. So these are gonna be hot mechs because they're running ER mediums and large lasers right here, or ER larges and ER mediums. Those mechs are gonna be hot. Also, they didn't provide clickable stuff again, but that's okay, we can zoom in. Alright, so it's gonna have 5 tons of ammo, so that is 30 rounds if you have the skill tree. It's 2 large pulses and 4 medium lasers, okay. And you can see the railgun mount right here, 5 critical slots in the right torso, 5 in the left torso, and then also 2 in the center torso. And when the center torso gets crit out, it can go poof. So I wouldn't worry about the XL engine here, to be honest. I would worry more about the cooling. Cooling is going to be a problem, I think. With the weapon running 20 heat, I think cooling is going to be a problem. And the way you're going to shoot this is you're going to charge up your railgun, you're going to fire your lasers, and then you're going to release the railgun. Not the other way around, otherwise you're just going to shoot all over the place, right? Quirk-wise, this mech gets 10% heat dissipation and some extra armor throughout the mech. But it's not going to be very tanky. So that was the War Ghoul. And then the Void Killer, that's the clan variant. That comes equipped with 4 ER larges and 2 ER mediums. 94 alpha. Same amount of ammo, but more cooling. 17 double heat sinks as opposed to 14 on the Innisphere side. So, but you won't be able to alpha strike this mech. It has 4 ER larges, but the heat skill limit is 2. It doesn't have any quirks for that. It has the same quirks basically. Heat dissipation, 10%, and armor throughout the mech. So you won't be able to alpha strike this, I feel. You're probably gonna... if you do this, you're cooking yourself. I think we'll have to test it, of course. But looking at this, I think this is misleading advertisement, my friends. I think this is misleading advertisement because you're not gonna alpha strike this. As far as I understand, you're not gonna be alpha striking this. That's 20 heat from the railgun already, plus 4 ER larges. You're gonna cook. Like, you're gonna cook. That's like another like heavy large on top of the 4 ER. Nah. I think this picture is false advertisement in my opinion. You're not gonna alpha strike this. Speed 51 kph on the clan mech, and as well as on the inner sphere mech. Like, apologies if I'm wrong here, but I think from seeing this, no. If there was large laser heat skill limit +2 on the clan side, I would say, yep, okay, maybe. But I think this is false advertisement. Okay. Warghoul and the Void Killer Legendary Pack will be available for purchase on Steam and in the MWO store. Then store adjustments. The Dragon Booster Pack mechs are now released for C-Builds. Oh, the Dragoon Booster Pack mechs, damn it. Dragoon Booster Pack mechs, or the Wolf's Dragoons Booster Pack mechs. The Fire Moth is now available for MC, and the Bane Warhorn is also available for MC. Weapon changes. The Railgun ammo skills have been added to the skill trees. Then some changes to LRM-10 apparently. Increased LRM-10 minimum heat penalty threshold to 5, so you can fire 4 LRM-10s with no heat penalty, so this should be something that's music to the ear of the Lerm Lords. Also increased LRM-10 minimum heat penalty threshold to 5 on the clan side, so you can now fire 4 clan LRM-10s with no heat penalty, and of course this is way less weight than the inner sphere side, so yep. And clan LRMs, and this is I think a massive buff, they fire missiles in pairs now, which means they cut the duration in half. The strength of Inner Sphere LRMs versus Clan LRMs was that Inner Sphere was always shooting volley, whereas Clan LRMs were always a stream, right? And if you cut the Clan LRMs in half in their duration, that's gonna be a lot closer to Inner Sphere now, which makes that Clan LRMs, that's a massive buff to Clan LRMs, I would say. Omnipod changes. Remember how I said that Gargoyle from the Tournament Support Pack is too weak? Yep, they're removing 2 jump jets from the P right torso, and they're also adding the P right torso with 2 jump jets, improved jump jets, so that's 4 tons worth of jump jets, and the Gargoyle M left torso, that's the Tournament Support Pack mech, has its count reduced to 2 from 4, so you can still have the same amount of jumpiness if you use the P right torso. But yeah, otherwise you're just gonna have 2 jump jets, you're gonna have 4 more tons that you can then use for cooling. In my opinion, that is still not enough of a change. Note, the Gargoyle M having 4 improved jump jet restricts the build variety a little heavier than you hoped. I mean, you guys are experts on this game. You're designing mechs, you're designing balance, right? You should have understood from the get-go that this Gargoyle is not going to be a very good mech. Because it's an 80-tonner, you're adding an XL400, and then you're adding 8 tons of jump jets. Like, this shouldn't be rocket science, that would not be good. So, do I like this solution? I mean, it's a solution that is probably the easiest to do. In my opinion, this Gargoyle just needs better quirks. Like, if it can't run proper weapon systems for an assault mech, together with the cool idea of jumping with the Gargoyle, which I love that idea, I just don't like how it was executed. Then I think just add stronger quirks. Give this thing some really strong quirks, so it can actually run some good Las1 builds, or some good, like, PPC plus lasers builds, or whatever, or pulse laser builds, whatever. Just give it quirks, so the lack of cooling is not that big of a problem, right? Just give it 20% less heat. I mean, who cares? Who cares? Just make it cool. Instead, it gets extra 4 tons now, but they're also removing the jump capability quite a bit. So they're making it less cool, and nothing changes in the firepower department. So, I mean, it's a change to the positive. Is it a change I would have liked for this mech? No. I would have liked a much stronger set of quirks and kept the side torso where it is. In my opinion, that would have preserved the coolness of this mech and the uniqueness of this mech a little bit better. Okay, bolt-on changes. Non-legendary or booster mech variants can now equip legendary or booster bolt-ons. May not be available for all variants of a chassis, as sometimes specific variant geometry or hardpoints will block these bolt-ons. The bolt-ons are still locked to legendary mechs purchasing only, but players now have more freedom in choosing where these bolt-ons go. It would be amazing if you had purchased the legendary mech already to be able to buy more of these unique bolt-ons. You already purchased the mech pack, just offer these bolt-ons for, I don't know, a couple hundred MC or whatnot, and people would be happy, right? So, yeah. Like I always say, when you already have purchased the mech pack or whatnot, let us buy the bolt-ons, and also on Hero Mechs or whatnot, let us buy the Omnipods. You've already purchased the mech. Why would you make people buy the mech again and the third time just to get the Omnipods for different builds? Not good. Quirk changes. Urban Mech 2C gets a buff. The pack ammo gets doubled, and it gets 15% heat dissipation. So the Urbi 2C M tournament support variant, it was already a little Terminator Urbi, it's getting better. Incubus 5 gets 150% pack ammo, so maybe we can do a pack build with this. Some changes to the Vipers. The Viper Prime, energy cooldown, missile cooldown, flat cooldown, and machine gun rate of fire were removed from set of 8. Instead, it gets a 25% flat cooldown, 60% weapon spread, and 10% range. All in the set of 8. Could be something, would have to take a look at that. Viper Alpha, laser heat and medium pulse laser heat removed. Instead it's 15% medium laser family heat to set of 8, and also 60% missile spread. Viper Delta gets missile spread added to left arm, and another 10% on top to the set of 8. And the Viper Medusa gets 30% missile spread to set of 8 as well. Blackjacks, the 1 and the 1 DC get 50% extra light autocannon ammo to make this mech use light autocannons more feasibly. Enforcer 5 Delta, 10% PPC family heat, 10% weapon velocity, and 100% bonus for light autocannon ammo. Okay. The Ozil 2S, same story, 100% light autocannon ammo. They really want to push the light autocannons apparently. And the packs, Huntsman Bravo, 50% pack ammo instead of 8. Black Lanner Alpha, the heat from the CT gets reduced by 5% to just a 5% bonus. And PPC heat, 10% now from 15% instead of 8. So apparently the PPC Black Lanner was a little bit too good. The Black Lanner M gets 50% Gauss off the AC-10, LB-10, and Ultra AC-10 ammo. Then the gauntlets, the 10 Bravo. Correct me if I'm wrong, is the 10 Bravo the one that had all the lasers in the arms? It now gets medium laser heat 15%. So I might be wrong, but I think the 10 Bravo was the one that had all the lasers, right? So that's nice. Still would like to see more armor on the freaking arms, because that's where all the weapons are. Mad Dog, the bandit, gets a ballistic cooldown 5% removed from left torso and right torso. And the UX jam chance is now 10% from 15% in left torso and right torso. That is a straight up nerf to the bandit. Because if you enjoyed the bandit with UX 20, fuck you. That's basically what this changes say. So yeah, that's a quite the nerf for the bandit, unfortunately. Is it gonna make it unplayable? No, but you're gonna feel that. Mostly the UX jam chance. I think moving the ballistic cooldown would have been fine, but keep the jam chance. Yeah, fun is the forbidden word, says Sultan right now in chat. By the way, we're doing this live on my live stream, twitch.tv/TheRealTTB, or the YouTube live stream, or kick.com/TTB Prime. So, Rifleman 2C, the Rifleman 2C 4 gets ATM range and pulse laser heat removed. Instead, it gets 10% flat heat and missile heat skill limit +2. So, for all your ATM enthusiasts out there, that might be something for you. And there's a bunch of changes for the Warhammer 2Cs. The Warhammer 2C gets 10% PPC velocity and energy range removed. Instead, it gets flat range, flat velocity, 10% range, 10% velocity, 60% missile spread, and missile cooldown 30%. But I think it only has like one missile hardpoint. Then we have the 2C2. PPC heat gets removed. Instead, it gets 10% flat energy heat and 15% energy cooldown. Nice. Warhammer 2C3. Heavy laser heat, cooldown, and duration is removed. Instead, it's 10% flat duration and 10% flat heat for all lasers, up from 5%. Nice. Warhammer 2C4, PPC heat and ATM velocity removed. Instead, 15% missile range and energy weapon heat skill limit +1. Triple ear PPCs, triple large pulse lasers, triple beam lasers. Interesting. Warhammer 2C10. Laser heat and laser range removed. Instead, it gets 10% Flat Heat, 7.5% range, and 15% missile spread. So these are buffs basically for all of them. 1.2C Alpha, 15% weapon spread, and 7.5% top speed. Interesting. And the Bludgeon gets ATM read and PPC velocity removed. Instead, 15% flat weapon velocity, 10% heat for everything, and 60% missile spread. And then the Maulers. Remember what they did with the Maulers a couple of patches ago, where they said they wanted to try out the glass cannon stuff, and I said that I don't think that's a good idea? Well, here is the reroll, or change towards that. The Mauler 1R gets a 5% reduction in cooldown, but it gets 50% crit reduction, which, it's funny, like, what have I always said? The Maulers, all the assault mechs, especially the big ones, need high crit reduction. If you're a big, slow target, you gotta have inbuilt crit reduction. We finally get some. Just on one mech series, but we finally get some. Good, nice. Crit reduction and center torso and left and right torso structure. 1P also gets extra structure, and the 2P gets 50% crit reduction as well as the extra structure. Basically, the experiment of turning it into a glass cannon was not successful, which that is exactly what I expected. Those mechs are just too big and too slow to be too much glass cannony outside of sniper range, right? So it's a good thing. Like I said, with all the changes that are happening, some changes are going to be good, some changes are going to be bad. If the bad changes get identified and changed back to something else or improved, that's fine, right? That's fine. So that would probably be the highlight of my patch right here, the Mauler changes, plus of course the 2 new bull sharks that I would love to test out. Not happy as much about the Gargoyle M. I think the Gargoyle M needs a different treatment, because I love the idea of this mech, and I feel this is not gonna make more people play it. In fact, I feel this is just not gonna change anything. It's gonna go into obscurity, just like the tournament support Zeus. By the way, Zeus, buff please. What is your highlight from this patch, guys? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much, supporters. Couldn't do it without you. If you want to join Team TTB, check out the join button right here on YouTube, super thanks button in the comment section, or of course the links to Patreon or the merch store listed in the video description.